My name is Angela.
And my name is Nicole.
And welcome to the Ominous Stitch podcast. Welcome to episode 5.
Yay!
Oh my goodness, we're 5 in.
This is awesome.
I know. I'm still having fun. Are you?
I'm still having a great time.
Yay.
I hope we do this forever.
Oh my gosh. That would be awesome. That's the dream. That's one of the dreams.
Today, I'm actually going to do the stitching today.
I know, you guys. Nicole's going to teach me her one stitch.
I'm doing my one pattern, and Angela's doing story time.
Story time.
Yay.
We're switching it up again. We always got to keep you guys on our toes.
Yes.
On your toes.
But eventually, it'll just fall back to me story time. And Angela doing all the
No,
crochet.
here's my prediction. Nicole is gaining more confidence every time we do this.
Slowly.
Well, you're gaining confidence. She's getting there. And so I think pretty soon we'll be trading back and forth a lot more than she thinks that we will.
We'll see. But I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And I'm learning a lot from Angela. She's
Yay.
awesome.
That's good. So Nicole, what has you in stitches this week?
What has me in stitches? I am finally recovering. We went on my belated birthday trip to Disneyland.
Yay, Disneyland.
Yes, being Californians, that's the coolest part. We get to go on vacation in our state.
Yes, a lot.
Yes, so we have everything. But being old and doing...
Okay, now careful now, because I am five
Five
years older than Nicole. So don't call yourself old, because that makes
know.
me ancient.
No, it's all about how you feel. Angela's like super fit. I'm getting there again. But like we were so tired the first day. It was so much fun. We had a great time, but it was one we learned we're never going in the summer.
Yes.
It's too hot.
Disneyland in the summer is hot.
Yes. And we use isitpacked.com and it said, hey, it's all right. No, it's vacation time for everybody, guys. Summer is crazy at Disneyland.
Yeah, relatively it's all right.
Yes.
And then especially coming out of the pandemic where you didn't see people for 2 years.
Exactly.
And then suddenly you're back into...
And you're in it. You're surrounded.
You're back into that pack mentality where there's people everywhere.
Everywhere. And we're, us being kind of more introverted, especially my husband. It's tough. Pirates was closed, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
I know. They opened that area up. So it's like you can walk better in that area, which is nice. But the tree is closed down. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, yeah. The tree has been closed. It was closed over Christmas. That was when I went last. So, over Christmas it was closed.
So that area that always has like a bottleneck.
It does. It has a big bottleneck there.
So it gets crowded. But my favorite food I got, I'm so excited.
What's your favorite food?
The Bengal skewers. Have you ever had those?
Yes. Over in Adventureland?
Yes.
Oh, they're so good.
My favorite.
Okay. We don't want to give away our little secret spot, but nobody is there.
Yes.
It's always easy to get food there.
Mobile
and
order.
It's so good.
So quick. So good. 2 skewers. I get the Banyan spicy beef skewers.
Oh, yeah. Nicole's a little spice head. She loves spicy food.
Anybody loves spice out there, we can chat because I will get everything in there. Spiciness. But yeah, Matt gets the pork belly. I get the spicy Banyan skewers, and it was amazing. So that was our dinner, and the Rise was the best ride ever.
The Rise is so cool. And we were talking about this a little bit before we started recording. For those of you who haven't been on the Rise of Resistance at Disneyland or Disney World, it's a really cool experience where you really feel like
You're
there. Yeah.
It's so cool.
And they take you into this one room and they kind of rush you through the room. And I wish that they would let you stay because it's just, there's 50 stormtroopers just lined up there. You're really in the movie. You feel like you're in that. It's a cargo bay, right?
Yes.
So you feel like you're in the cargo bay with all the stormtroopers
staring at you, and the heads move a little.
Yes.
I think so that it shows that they're like kind of real, but they're not.
Do you say AT-ATs or AT-ATs?
I hate that. Don't ask me this because I don't know either one. I say AT-AT.
AT-AT. See, I always said AT-AT.
That's what I did before. And then I was like, maybe I'm doing this wrong.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm not a Star Wars buff.
But they rush you through this really cool room to go on the super cool ride.
The ride is amazing.
Yeah.
But the room, like we held back because we wanted to hang out more. And Matt was like, oh, can I maybe I can take a Funko picture in here. I'm like, yeah, they'll rush you.
Yeah. They rush you through. They rush you through the rooms to get you on the ride because there's
a million people waiting.
To go on the ride.
We waited almost 2 hours for that ride.
Oh my gosh.
But it was totally worth it. We loved it. We had the lightning genie, and that was the plus, and that was worth it too in a way. But yeah, it was overall, it was really fun.
Yay.
And the second day we were dying, our feet were like on fire and we couldn't walk. So we took a lot more breaks. We were at California Adventure the second day.
Oh, California Adventure is the best. I feel like it's so underrated. I love California Adventure.
The water ride is my favorite.
Yes. We like to do that at night. If we're staying
crazy.
on property, we do that last thing before we go to bed, because then you're just wet and you go in the hotel and you take a shower and go to bed. It's so fun at night. And the water's not as cold as what you're anticipating it being.
We thought, and we didn't know we have things that shouldn't get wet. I had like
drawings.
No. We're like, where do we put these? I thought it was like the rides that I forgot where we were, where there's a middle area where you put it in.
Yeah,
and it's got a bag cover, right?
Yeah,
no, not this
one. No protection. Your stuff will get wet.
So just FYI, I had to keep it right under my legs.
Yeah,
I somehow kept things dry. My little one had a really good time. It was really fun, but we left before the World of Color, unfortunately, because we were just exhausted.
So tired.
Yes, our last ride was Guardians.
Oh, I love Guardians.
And that was
it's
so much
so
fun.
bouncy.
I got a little sick,
Yes.
even with my Dramamine. I was like, okay, I think I'm done. My eldest didn't want to go on.
Oh, really?
Was
he too scared?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And my little one was like, let's do it.
Oh, of course. Your little one takes after you.
Yes.
So I can imagine him being like,
adventurous.
yes, let's go.
Yeah. But both of them did it. Both of them were fine. My eldest was like, I'm going to die. I'm like, you're not going to die. You're going to be fine. Hold on to daddy. He did.
That's so cute.
It was really cute.
Aww.
But I love the music, and it was really fun.
Yeah, the music's really fun. It makes up for all the bounce. And
yes.
It's so
we
bouncy.
survived. And it was, we were dead. So we recovered. We're good now. That was a really fun trip, but no more summer.
Yeah, don't go to Disneyland in the summer.
Go in the summer.
Yeah,
It's
try to
too
go in the
hot.
fall or in the winter time.
Christmas is really pretty.
My birthday's in the fall, so we tend to go around my birthday, and so they have it decorated for Halloween,
so
which
pretty.
is so fun. And it's so
Yeah.
pretty. And that they changed the Haunted Mansion over to Jack Skellington, and so it's
I like it better.
I like it better that way too.
Yeah, we had it. We went on it, and we were like, okay, this is the OG Haunted Mansion, and I'm glad we did it. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
you forget when you go in the fall all the time. You forget what the original Haunted Mansion's like.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, this is OG. It feels a little more creepier, which is fun. I like that.
Yeah. A little more ominous.
Yes. I was about to say that too. But yeah, the Jack Skellington Nightmare Before Christmas is just so much more fun.
Yes.
It's prettier in
Yeah,
there.
I enjoy it too. Yeah.
Angela, what has you in stitches this week?
Okay. So we have been toying with the idea of possibly moving, because we have this dream of having land and having a farm. Right now we're in the suburbs, but we think it would be really fun to grow our own food and have some farm to never table animals.
Aww.
And just,
have your own little babe.
Have that little lifestyle. And so we've been toying with the idea, and we've been checking out some places. And one thing that my husband really wants is he wants to have a pond on the property. He wants to build a pond.
That would be cute. A lot of maintenance, but
a
cute.
lot of maintenance, but really cute, because part of his dream is to be able to wake up in the morning and walk out and go fish on his own land.
That's amazing.
and bring in some fish.
That is so cute.
Yeah.
What a dream.
It's cute. So we've been talking about like where to put a pond, and I'm like, I don't know if we really need a pond. And so this is how he went about convincing me that we need a pond. He found a video of these people in Florida.
We might keep this in. Our kids are together, and they're wearing Angela's high heels.
Yes.
And they're clomping around up above. Sorry if you hear any clomping.
Yes, it's not
Stomping.
ghosts. It is our children putting on my high
should be
heels. No, that would be better. It's our children wearing my high heels and clomping around
fun.
above our heads.
Yay. We'll keep it if it sounds fun. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
So he convinced you.
he convinced me. He found this video that he put on. He's like, we can do this. This is the compromise. And I was like, okay, what is it? So these people have made this really cute pond with like a waterfall and lots of rocks and lots of greenery, and so it looks very natural. And it was a full enclosure, so it was like caged in and even had like a roof on it. And I was like, well, what are we watching? And all of a sudden, this little otter comes running out.
What?
Yes. They made a pond for their otter.
Guys, otters are my favorite.
I know. That's why I was like, Nicole, I have something to tell you during.
Is it like a river otter?
A little river otter. There's two of them. He has a mate.
What?
And they were putting fish in that pond so that they would, be fish in their little river pond.
That is amazing.
I know. I told Sam, I was like, if we do this, Nicole will never leave our house.
Nope. I will
she will
sleep
live
outside.
there.
I will live by the pond. What?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know. Wouldn't it be cool?
This pond doesn't sound like a pond. It sounds like a lake.
No, it's a pond. It's like a little
crazy.
enclosure. It's a pond.
Wow.
But I think they cycle the water back through because there's a waterfall, and so it just goes
so
through.
neat.
And the little otter was just so happy because he was exploring it for the first time, and he kept going over to the human like, "Really, this is for me? Okay." And then he'd jump in and then come out and squeak at the human, and then jump back in and swim around. I know you would never leave my house.
I'm staying. I will pay for a tent outside, and I will live with the otters, guys.
Oh, yeah, so that's what has me in stitches this week.
I love it. Okay, now I'm convinced. You can get a pod now. We were talking about this earlier. I was like, that's a lot of maintenance. And fish, yeah. Okay, otters. Threw otters in there. I'm done.
Yeah, it's a pond. Otters and ducks. That's the other reason why my husband wants ducks so bad.
I think a duck
it's
would be
so
fun.
cute. Yes.
If you get little ducklings and then you can raise them.
Little ducklings and they follow you around.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've seen this video on YouTube or Instagram. I'll have to show you. And the duck just he's like, what's it doing? And it's like flying through the floor, just like, and then it goes back and forth. And you just see him going back and forth. And it's the cutest thing. I'm sure some of you have seen this. I'll have to show Angela later. But anyway.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Are we ready to get stitching?
Let's get stitching.
And we're diving into stitching time with Nicole. I'm so excited.
Angela's really excited. I was about to call her Miss Angela. Angela's very excited. I'm going to call this because I actually tried to find this stitch online and I couldn't find the name. It looks like a shell. Mm-hmm. So we're going to call this Nichi on a half shell.
Nichi on a half shell.
Yeah.
I love it.
So the chaining, the first row, we are going to chain multiples of 3.
Multiples of 3.
Yes. So when I make my blankets, it's huge. Just keep counting 3. You don't have to count like the number.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
That's it. And then there you go.
All right. Awesome. So we're going to chain multiples of 3.
I'm going to do this while I do this, while I talk. I'm going to do this while I talk. All right. So I have 12 chains.
Yes, 12.
And then when I get to the 12th chain, you skip 2 and go into the 3rd chain.
Okay. Skip 2, go into the 3rd chain from the hook.
All you got to do is a single.
Okay. Single crochet.
Same loop. Go a double now.
Into the same chain. Okay. So a single and then a double.
Yep. And then another double in the same chain. That's it.
Okay. A single, a double, a double.
That's
so you have 3 crochets in the 3rd chain from the hook.
In the 3rd chain from the hook.
Okay.
Correct. Skip 2, do the same thing. So the 3rd one again.
Okay.
Single chain.
A single crochet.
Yep. Or single crochet. Sorry. I always do that. See? Terminology.
That's okay. I do it too.
Double.
A double crochet.
And a double.
And a double.
That's it.
So single, double, double.
Single, double, double.
2.
Every 3. Yeah, every 3rd.
Then skip 2 chains and then single, double, double.
So you'll get to the end. Okay.
Okay.
All you got to do is single crochet.
Uh-huh.
And then chain 2 because you want 3, right? At the end.
Okay. Yes.
So then that's it. And then you go back and you go into that 3rd.
So the chain 2 is your last double crochet.
Yes.
And it's also your turn.
Correct. Thank
Okay.
you. See? Angela's got my terminology. So then you go into the first actual loop. So
okay.
you skip those 2, right?
Okay.
Go back around, go into that first loop and do the same thing. So single and double, double. If I can do it. See, this is why Miss Angela has me do it while she talks.
I know. I was like, do I get to do it? And she goes, no, I'm going to do it.
I think I can do it.
She's
Nope.
pulling double duty right now. She is talking and crocheting.
It's hard. It's hard. And I'll show you the video. It's super easy. Then you skip again to the third one, single, double, double. And that's it. You just keep going single, double, double. And it's
single,
so easy.
double, double every third.
Every third. And at the end, again, I'm at the end of mine real quick. You do the single
crochet and then
two chain.
Single crochet and 2 chain. So in the very end, it's just a single crochet and 2 chains.
That's
so
it.
It's not a single crochet, a double, and then a chain. A single crochet. 2 chains, which turns you.
Yes.
And then when you go back, do you go back into that first?
Yes, the first loop. So your
the
2 chains,
stitch?
you're just,
Okay.
your first stitch. Your 2 chains that you did are just kind
Or
of your
the
tail.
turning chain.
Yeah,
Okay.
turning.
And then you go back into that first
Yep.
stitch, and then you
Single,
double, double.
That's it. And it makes this really cool little shell pattern.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
It is. It's really cute. I've seen the blankets.
I'll show pictures. That's my, like I said, every family member has a blanket, and this is the same pattern. Now, so the hard part for me, I don't know how to explain this, but I use multiple colors.
Right.
So I just eyeball it when I'm at the end. I have no counting system for that part because I never learned. I usually, most of the time when I first started, I was like one ball of yarn. You can make one big color, which is fine. But for me, I just eyeball it and I cut it and I just kind of tie off the ends and then I crochet them back in when I'm done.
Okay.
So you can change the colors if you want.
Yeah, and if we want to do a tutorial on changing colors, I'm happy to
Angela
to
probably
do
will
that.
have to help me with that.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to change colors.
Yeah. But I just cut it. I just like eyeball it.
Uh-huh.
I cut it and then I like tie it off at the end.
Uh-huh.
And then I crochet them in. And you can never know. And it's like, oh, cool. But that's where my training, I just kind of did it on my own, everybody. So Angela, like I said, she's got all the terminology. She knows what she's doing.
It's just a lot of YouTube and then reading books.
But that's why we're here. So we'll give you some entertainment. We'll show you on our YouTube videos.
And that's our Nichi on a half shell. That's what
Nichi
we're
on a
calling
half shell. That's what we'll call it for now. But I'm sure there's an actual name for this somewhere. But for now, we'll use, and it actually works out for story time because Nichi on a half shell, is close to the beach.
Oh, that's right.
So I figured that worked out.
Yes, in story time, we're going to be hitting the beach. So is it ominous story
It's
time?
the ominous story time with Angela.
Yay! Okay, Stitchers, it is time for story time with me. Okay, so you guys know in our last episode, we mentioned that we were in San Diego and we recorded from our hotel room in San Diego, but we didn't tell you what hotel we were staying at. Where were we staying, Nicole?
We were staying at Hotel Del Coronado.
Yay, the Hotel Del, the infamous Hotel Del.
It was so cool. That hotel is huge.
It's massive.
It's gorgeous, though.
It's beautiful and massive.
It was so much fun.
So much fun and haunted.
Yay!
Okay, so that's why we were there, because it was haunted. And you guys, we may have some evidence to report from our trip.
We'll attach photos too.
Yes, we will. Oh, so many photos of the Hotel Del. And if you have an opportunity just to go visit the Hotel Del, take that opportunity, because it is amazing to just walk through the lobby, walk around the gallery, walk around the grounds, go along the boardwalk, go there for brunch on Sunday in the Crown Room.
Ooh, we almost did that.
We almost did that. We were like, we can't spend any more money.
No, we spent a lot already. We were good. We got an expensive breakfast sandwich at the area.
Yes.
So.
We decided to take one last stroll on the beach before we caught our train on the way out.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the Hotel Del.
Yay.
So I'm going to dive into some history that I dug up from the Hotel Del website.
Oh, cool.
They have tours that you can take when you're there. Oh, just go for the tour, because they do a haunted tour.
I wish we had time for
that. I know, we didn't have time. We were doing other haunted tours in San Diego. We didn't have time to do the tour at the hotel, but next time we go to San Diego, because there's so much more to explore in San Diego, it will be...
Second trip.
Yeah, second trip. Woo-hoo. We'll go back and we'll stay at the Horton Hotel.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That would be so much fun.
That would be fun. Okay. You may hear about that in a future podcast. Okay, so this is taken from the Hotel Del website, and they have all this history is posted everywhere in the hotel. There's tons of pictures, so we'll post those on our socials as well.
Yes, we will.
So in 1886, the hotel founders Elijah Babcock Jr. and Hampton L. Story along with San Diego developer Alonzo Horton. We know that name, okay. Alonzo Horton, surveyed Coronado Beach. So they went out to the island. Coronado is an island just off the coast of San Diego.
Yes.
And they were out there surveying the beach because they wanted to put up a hotel there.
So 3 of them.
3 of them. Babcock and Story had no experience in the hotel business.
Really?
Yes.
They had money though?
They just went for it. Yes. They had money.
Okay.
But were so inspired by the natural beauty of Coronado that they purchased the island.
What?
Not the land for the hotel. They bought the whole island.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And built a hotel that would, these are their quotes, be the talk of the Western world and a place where, another quote, people will continue to come long after we are gone, which is all true.
Exactly.
They conquered what they set out to do. Yes.
Wow.
It was amazing. So Babcock and Story created the Coronado Beach Company to support the development of Coronado Island. So they were putting the infrastructure in before they started to build the hotel, which is smart. They weren't dummies about this. So they built a ferry company. So they could ferry because there was no bridge.
Yes.
So they had to ferry back and forth from the island. They built a water company. They built a railroad and electric and power plants.
Wow.
So this is back in the late 1800s where electricity was new.
Yes.
And so they're electrifying their hotel. So it's one of the only hotels to be electrified at this time.
Wow.
Also, I just want to say this now before I forget, because I don't think I included this in the notes. Some people say that Thomas Edison himself came out and installed the electrical in the hotel. He did not. Oh. That's not true. But I know. I just wanted to clear that air.
Good to know.
Okay. So they laid out Coronado's parks, civic areas, commercial zones, and streets after they chose the site of the hotel. So they laid it all out to accentuate the position of the hotel.
That's so smart.
And as we were driving down Orange Avenue, that's the street that the hotel is on, you can see that because they have this beautiful shopping district. And then you go into this beautiful civic area with this great big park. And then there's the library and the police. And it's just gorgeous.
It's very picturesque when you walk.
It's very idyllic and picturesque and laid out very well as you start heading towards the hotel itself. Another thing they did is they named a couple of streets after their wives. Isn't that sweet? So Isabella and Adela Avenues
they're dedicated to
are named after their wives. Isn't that sweet?
Good job.
We'll hold on to that idea of the men being sweet because that might come back to quote unquote haunt us later. Okay. Once the town was established, Babcock and Story held a land auction that attracted a reported 6,000 people.
Wow.
They sold 350 lots at that auction, and they raised $100,000. By June 10th of 1887, Coronado lot sales had reached the $1.5 million mark.
Wow.
Right?
That's amazing.
The people are buying up the land on the island.
Smart, yeah.
And then that number eventually reached 2.25 million.
Holy cow.
When they finished selling all the lots. So when we were staying on Coronado, we did happen to look at some of the real estate listings. You can't help it. You're walking by, you see They
post it everywhere.
It's everywhere. Oh my gosh, guys. Condos are going for millions of dollars. It's
one little 2-bedroom condo, 2-bedroom.
Yeah. I feel like it's $1 million for 1,000 square feet.
Yeah. It's like 1.5 million or something crazy.
It's insane.
A house is 3.8 average million.
Like, how do people live here?
Yeah. Well, when we were in the Uber or Lyft, the guy said that it's a lot of retired money now.
Retired and retired and military as well.
Which I didn't believe the military part.
Well, if the military owns housing there.
True. Yeah. That's a good point. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So that's how they make it work. In December of 1886, Babcock Story and Herbert Ingle, who was one of the original investors for the Coronado Company, and James Reed, who is one of the architects. The Reed brothers are the architects. They conceived the basic layout of the hotel in December. The basic layout.
Holy cow.
It has expanded since the basic layout.
Got it.
It included a courtyard, pavilion tower, and a dining wing. Visitors turned out in large numbers to watch the groundbreaking of the hotel. And the Reed brothers of Evansville, Indiana, were the architects for the Del. So the Reed brothers from Evansville, Indiana.
I can't imagine when back then there's no TV, right? So
Yes. So anything's entertainment.
Yeah. Oh
yes.
my gosh, we're going to watch this hotel be built.
Right.
It's like slow going, I'm sure, but it's probably really
It was
cool.
very
back then.
slow going, yes. But, entertainment.
Yes.
They began at the less ornate northern face of the hotel, which allowed the inexperienced workforce to gain some practice before the designs became more complicated.
That's
So that was
smart.
very smart. Let's start simple,
Basic.
ease everybody's way into the
crazy,
grandness that eventually happens.
Okay.
So by May 1887, approximately 250 men were employed in the construction of the resort. Okay, so some fun facts about the hotel. The all-wooden hotel used a variety of lumber. So they had Douglas fir for framing and California redwood for the exterior siding, because it was believed that the California redwood was termite resistant.
Oh, that's smart.
Yes. And
Is it really?
I don't know. They believed it. So I don't know if that's
like
true.
The smell of the wood maybe just makes the termites not want to.
don't
It's
know.
hard to believe. It's wood.
Yeah.
Wood is wood, right?
Wood is wood.
Wood is wood. That's neat. All wood.
Yes. And they also used hemlock and cedar as well for
that must
building
smell
materials,
good.
right? It was just so much lumber, just truckloads and ferry loads of
I was
lumber
gonna
just
say,
coming to build
having
it.
to probably ship that is probably by boat mostly.
Right. Well, yes, because it's an island.
Yeah.
So they have to put it on.
Well,
ferry.
you said there's a
Oh,
train,
there's a
right?
railroad.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
they did. They
I'm
brought a
sure.
railroad
Yeah,
in.
that was both, but having to
Yes.
see probably boatloads of wood being shipped
Yes.
back and forth. That's crazy.
So this is how much wood was really going on this all wooden hotel. When we say all wooden, we mean all wooden. There
Wow.
are no nails. No nails.
That is so crazy.
In this hotel. They used wooden pegs. Everything is fit together with wood for the hotel.
I'm surprised it's still standing.
I know. Here we are 60 years
Yeah.
later. Am I doing math right?
140 years?
1886.
140 years? Math, y'all.
100. Yeah, my husband's the math genius,
Yeah,
not me.
you
That's
leave it
not
to
me. Okay, we can do math. And it's still standing.
That's amazing.
It's all wood.
It's gorgeous. It does slant a little.
Oh, there are lots of slopes, which is
Holy
really
cow.
interesting. It's so fun because you're like, why is the
You're
the
like
floor's all
sloping
bumpy?
down.
But it's still just gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
Still just gorgeous. The lobby featured Illinois white oak, and the crown room ceiling was done with Oregon sugar pine, and it was chosen for its lack of knot holes. So that's why they chose
Did not
the
know
Oregon
that.
sugar pine.
What a
Yes.
cute name.
Yay. By November 1887, much of the exterior construction was complete. The highest point was a 120-foot iconic red-roofed ballroom tower.
Yes.
And you'll see that in pictures. It's gorgeous, and there's like a little
beautiful.
flag on top. Yeah. So we will make sure we post lots of pictures. And we can
course.
post pictures of the construction and all that on there. So these are some of the modern features that they had going on. They had an ice machine that produced 15 tons of ice per day. An ice machine
Is that
in
new
the
back then?
Victorian times.
That was pretty modern.
I feel like that's pretty modern.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a cistern.
Okay.
They had an electrical plant, which I talked about when they were doing the infrastructure, and laundry machines.
Hey.
So lots of modern amenities going on in
job,
the hotel.
hotel.
Though guests started arriving in January of 1888, the Hotel Del Coronado celebrates its birthday on February 19th. It was the day they sold their first meal in the dining room.
Aww.
Yeah. So that's when they celebrate the birthday.
Nice.
The crown room was the original dining room of the hotel, and now
Okay.
it's used as a ballroom. And when we were there was a convention going
Yeah.
on, so we couldn't go into the crown room, but we could see it, and it was
so neat.
Oh my goodness, you guys, it's amazing. An early promotional brochure described the many amenities, including its interior court with a fountain, exotic fruit trees. Ooh.
I don't remember those.
I don't remember the exotic fruit trees, but there was a dragon tree, which is really cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
In the front, that was really pretty.
Luxury guest rooms overlooking the garden patio or exterior vistas. We got to stay in one of those. We were definitely in the Victorian part of the hotel. It was pretty
fun.
cool. There were private parlors, reception rooms, expansive verandas, and was promoted as a health resort because of its abundant sunshine, restorative ocean air. That's what it said.
Because anything on the ocean is going to be restorative.
Restorative ocean air, which it is. It's so nice. We sat out there and just sat there and breathed in the ocean breezes, and it makes you happy.
It is very relaxing.
So here's another fun thing that is going to blow your mind. So the room rates at the time, which included 3 meals a day.
Wow.
So food included, staying at the resort, started at, do you have any guesses?
1886, right?
Yes.
3 meals a day.
Yes.
I'm going to say $20.
Way lower than that.
Really?
$2.50 per day.
What?
That's how much it cost to stay there in 1888.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? It does not cost that these days, guys. Google it.
Oh, yeah. It's far from that.
And meals are not included.
And the meals are like 80,000 times more than that.
Yeah. A $6 cup of coffee.
It was like an $8 cup of coffee.
Yes.
Our whole breakfast meal with a breakfast sandwich and a coffee was, I think, $22.
Mm-hmm. $22 for a cup of coffee and a small little breakfast.
And then they have the audacity, to go, hey, you have to follow these prompts, and they ask you to tip them.
Yeah, you tip before you pay, which is
insane.
amazing. I love it.
$2. I want to go back to 1888.
Right. $2.50
Yep.
with meals included.
With meals.
Right.
3 meals.
3 meals. The hotel was built at a cost of $600,000.
Wow.
And it was furnished for $400,000.
Wow.
So a whopping $1 million.
Back then, that was a lot.
That was a lot of money.
Wow.
So they spared no expense.
Yeah.
And really poured
everything
into making this an incredible, luxurious hotel, which it still is. Luxurious. In 1890, Story and Babcock transferred the ownership to one of their investors. There was a big downturn in San Diego at that time.
Oh, that's right.
And so they turned over the ownership to one of their investors, John D. Speckles.
Hey, Speckles.
I know, I love it, Speckles, who was the son of the Sugar King, Klaus Spreckles. Sorry, Spreckles. There's an R there.
Sprinkle.
I think it's Spreckles. He remained the owner until his death in 1926, and then his family kept the ownership until 1948.
Who'd they turn it over to?
I'm assuming the Hiltons. I don't know who, because the Hiltons own it now. It's a Hilton hotel now. But I'm not sure who bought it at that point.
Okay. But at some point,
the Hiltons took it over, and now it is part of the Hilton collection. So that's the background that I dug up on the Hotel Del Coronado.
Yeah, you can look it up too, everybody.
Yeah, you can look it up. I got most of that information directly from the website, and they have more information after that. They are very proud of their heritage there.
I love that, though. That's so neat.
Yeah, it's so neat. And so it's really easy to find information about the Hotel Del and go there and take a tour. So I wanted to talk about some of the famous guests that they've had at the Hotel Del.
Get it.
And we're going to talk about one famous guest in particular in a little bit, but this is also a fun part of it. So there have been quite a few presidents that have stayed there. President Benjamin Harrison in 1891.
Okay.
He was the first in-office president ever to visit San Diego, and he stayed at the Hotel Del. And then he told President William Taft, hey, you got to stay here. This is cool.
Passed it on.
So, so in 1915, Taft came and stayed there as well.
Okay.
And I think I'm going pretty much in chronological order from what I found. So there was a famous writer who stayed there in the early 1900s. L. Frank Baum would spend months at a time between the years 1904 and 1910 at the Del. He would go just stay there for months at a time. He wrote Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. Yay! In 1908. So a quick little side story. They have red brick all over the
back patio.
The back patio by the boardwalk. And before we even knew that he stayed there, Nicole and I were singing, follow the red brick road, follow the red brick road.
True story.
It was so funny. And then when we found out that the writer of the Wizard of Oz stayed there and wrote the Wizard of Oz while staying there, we were like, oh my goodness.
Blew our mind. We're like, that's where it came from.
Yay. So he also wrote The Road to Oz in 1909 and The Emerald City in 1910. So he wrote all three of those Wizard of Oz books at the Del over those 3 years.
The beachy, happy.
Yes.
But the brick road.
Yes.
Kind of
follow the red.
That is so cool.
It was very cool. He also designed the crown chandeliers in the crown room.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that amazing? We were commenting on those as well as we were walking by. You can see them through the big plate glass windows. And we're like, wow, those are crowns. Those are so cool. And
yeah, well, Angela pointed out, I was like, look at them. They're crowns. Like, yeah, Coronado.
Coronado.
I was like, oh, duh.
It's all about crowns.
Makes so much sense.
Yes. So the Del has also been featured in some movies. So we're going to go over some of the movies as well as some of the famous people. So the first movie was in 1916 and it was called The Pearl of Paradise. It was featured.
1916.
1916.
Wow. Was it in color? I bet not.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Also in the 1920s, some other famous guests were W.C. Fields, Douglas Fairbanks, and Charlie Chaplin.
Hey.
Charlie Chaplin loved it there.
That makes sense.
Charles Lindbergh stayed there and they had a big celebration for him because the Spirit of St. Louis was built in San Diego.
Oh, didn't know that.
So they had a big celebration for him in 1927.
Cool.
We have another president and first lady staying there. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt stayed there with Mrs. Roosevelt. Aww. Another movie that was filmed there in 1958, starring Marilyn Monroe, Tony Curtis, and Jack Lemmon. Some Like It Hot.
Yeah.
A great, super fun movie.
There's a store there that had everything Marilyn, and that whole movie. The movie was playing.
Yes.
That was really fun.
Yes. Yeah. So they're very proud of that part of history. It's really cool. Nixon held a state dinner there in 1970. And some of the guests at his dinner were Frank Sinatra.
What?
California governor and first lady at the time, Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan were there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
A lot of famous people.
A lot of famous people at that state dinner there. It's the first state dinner held outside of the White House.
Wow. That's neat.
Then we have another movie, The Stunt Man, in 1977, starring Peter O'Toole and Barbara Hershey.
Cool.
Two other famous presidents. Jimmy Carter stayed there in 1979, and President Gerald Ford stayed there in 1980, and he stayed there a number of times since then.
Lots of presidents.
Lots of presidents. So we are going to move on to perhaps the most famous guest that never checked out of the Hotel Del.
Dun, dun, dun.
Her name is Kate Morgan.
Hey, Kate. We tried to see Kate.
We'll
go into that.
There might be more to that story. And I'm going to give you a little information on her. Kate Morgan was born Kate Farmer around 1864 in Fremont County, Iowa. Her mother died on September 23rd in 1865. And at the age of 2, Kate was sent to live with her maternal grandfather, Joe Chandler.
Aww.
So when she was just a tiny little baby, she didn't really get to know her mom.
Yeah.
And then she was sent to live with her mom's dad.
Was that in Iowa too? Or?
Yes, also in Iowa. In 1871, Kate's father, George Farmer, remarried and had 2 more daughters. He was a postmaster of Hamburg, Iowa, so he was still in Iowa. But then he retired and moved to Texas, and he died in Texas in 1876.
Did Kate live with him?
Kate, I don't think was living with him at the time. I think she was still living with her
in Iowa.
Yeah, with her grandfather.
That's weird. So she never really stayed with her dad.
Right.
Aww.
Yeah. She has some
father issues.
Yeah, there's some daddy issues going on here.
Okay.
On December 30th of 1885, Kate married Thomas Edwin Morgan. So Kate got married.
Yay.
They had 1 child,
Aww.
a boy. He was born on October 31st of 1886.
Halloween.
But
Uh-oh.
he only lived for 2 days.
Oh, no. What happened?
I didn't get the details on his death, but in the Victorian times, children died young.
Is so sad.
The infant mortality rate was really high. Yes.
Oh, that's too bad.
So around 1890, Kate decided that she'd had enough of her marriage with Thomas.
Oh, geez.
Yes.
Well, death of an infant probably didn't help.
Right. So 5 years into the marriage, she ran off with Albert Allen.
Oh, peace out.
Okay.
With Albert Allen. Okay.
Albert Allen. Let's see if we can follow this genealogy here. So Albert Allen is a stepson of Thomas's, that's her husband, of Thomas's stepmother,
Whoa.
So not related, but kind of related.
But in there.
In the family, he would be at the family reunion, if that makes sense.
Okay. So she knew him.
She knew him. He's the stepson of Thomas's stepmother.
Got it.
So this relationship was rocky, and not much is known about Kate during this 2-year period, but they were together for about 2 years. So not much is known about that. In 1892, she decided to take a trip to San Diego.
By herself?
No. We don't think that she was by herself.
Oh,
she went by train, which we went by train to San Diego too. But she went by train. But in 1892, she checked into the Hotel Del Coronado alone.
Okay.
She was there alone under the name of Mrs. Lottie A. Bernard.
Oh, a different name.
Yes, from Detroit.
So she didn't want anybody knowing she was there?
She didn't want anybody knowing her name and who she was.
I didn't know that. That's
right.
crazy.
So she checked under a false name at the Hotel Del by herself.
And no IDs back then?
No IDs back then. So you could say whoever you wanted to
that would
be.
Fun. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it was around Thanksgiving when she checked in.
Okay.
So it was November. So the staff said that she was very ladylike, very beautiful, reserved, and well-dressed. But she seemed very troubled and melancholy while she was there. It was said she kept to herself. She would go to the shops, but she was mostly in her room or walking along the beach. She was just very solitary and melancholy. Sure. And she said she was waiting for a gentleman there.
She told somebody
who never came. Yes.
Interesting.
I also found in some story somewhere when I was doing my research, and I didn't document where I found this. So take it or leave it as you hear. But it is said that on the train ride to the Del, she had a falling out with a man on the train ride.
Interesting.
And he got off the train at some point and just left her alone to continue her trip into San Diego. So that's how she wound up there by herself and why she was telling people she was meeting a man.
Got it.
I don't know if it was Alan Albert.
Yeah, it's mystery.
We don't know who the man was that she
on the train
that she had a falling out with, but she checked in under a false name at the Hotel Del and said she was waiting for a gentleman. 5 days after she checked in, she was found on the steps leading toward the beach with a revolver in her hand and a gunshot wound to her head. So she checked in and never checked out. It was ruled a suicide, and she is buried at Mount Hope Cemetery in Division 5, Section 1 in San Diego.
So she stayed in San Diego.
She's buried in San Diego, and it was ruled a suicide. However, though it was ruled a suicide, the bullet in her head did not match the revolver, according to the coroner's report. Right?
What? Blows your mind. What?
It did blow her mind.
Blew her mind out. Literally. It's crazy that they would rule it a suicide knowing that the gun did not match the bullet.
Right. Well, it took them a while to figure out who she was as well, because she checked in under a false name.
Yeah.
And they didn't know who she was. So she was known as the beautiful stranger because they found out that was a false name.
Right.
And then they eventually figured out who she was. But I think because it just made it neat and tidy to rule it a suicide, even though the bullet did not match the revolver, they could.
That's so sad that they were like,
put her in the ground.
Okay.
Right.
Let's just brush this aside.
Not a lot of detective work because there was apparently not too many people were there to claim her or to figure out who she was. And
right. So it's easiest to just say, hey, this is it. We're done.
Right.
Oh, that's so sad.
Right.
That's why I would wander.
Right. I think because of the mystery surrounding her death. And the fact that it was ruled a suicide where it probably wasn't.
Right.
That's why she's still there.
If this was a murder, right? Wouldn't it be weird to have two guns on you? And be like, oh, let me just put this gun in her hand that doesn't match. Like,
right.
How does that
So
work?
I'm wondering if she had the revolver that was in her hand and was going to shoot somebody and they shot her first. And because she had a gun in her hand, they were like,
just said, oh,
it's going to be a suicide.
That's a great theory. Maybe someone walked up behind her and she didn't even know. Because
I don't know which way the bullet entered her head.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's probably not a lot of evidence of what happened because I didn't want to
Right.
just.
Well, there are some books.
Oh,
So let's get into that.
yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So there are 4 books written about this subject. The hotel's heritage department has published an official book on Kate Morgan titled The Beautiful Stranger, The Ghost of Kate Morgan, and the Hotel Del Coronado. And this is sold all throughout the hotel. You
Neat.
could, in any of the gift shops, it was there. and
We
you
were
could buy
going to
it.
get it, but.
Yes, we were going to get it. And I was like, I'm not going to have enough time to read this whole thing before we record. So I did my best, but there is a lot more information out there on Kate Morgan.
Okay.
So it avoids the speculation and bases its research on historical documents available in the local libraries, historical societies, and city hall and police files. So it favors the suicide verdict. I think probably because it creates a better mystique that a suicide happened in the hotel and she was a very melancholy woman.
Sure.
And so that kind of paints a better picture than murder
Right.
at the hotel.
Right. Oh, that's true. Kind of like a brush under the rug.
Right.
That's too bad, though.
Yes. So there are 5 books.
Wow.
There are 4 other books
Okay.
available. 2 of them are written by John T. Cullen. So the first book is called Dead Move, Kate Morgan and the Haunting Mystery of Coronado. And it's the 2nd edition. So he revised it in 2008. And that is his nonfiction book based on what happened and the information that he could find surrounding Kate Morgan's passing.
Got it.
The second is a novel.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's called Lethal Journey, and it was published in 2009. So that's probably a fun read in his idea of what possibly could have
I
happened
want
to
to
Kate.
read this book now.
Right? Okay. Another book is The Ghost of the Hotel Del Coronado, the true story of Kate Morgan by Terry. I don't know if it's Girardeau or Girardeau.
Okay.
Giradot. So Kate's husband, Thomas, right? Thomas Morgan, was the half brother of Girardeau's maternal grandmother.
Whoa.
So he's related to the Morgan side,
Yeah.
Thomas Morgan side. So his book has full versions of articles from San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Genealogy research, including the telegram sent to Tom informing him of Kate's death/suicide.
Whoa.
So eventually word got back to Tom about the suicide. And that is in the book. So you can read that information in the book.
That's so cool.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Okay. And now here's the last book. And this one I think is going to be the super fun one to read. So Alan May,
Okay.
he was a lawyer from San Francisco in the 1980s. He also wrote one about her death not being a suicide. And it is also speculated that he was a relative of hers. So he doesn't believe that she killed herself.
Good.
Based on the coroner's report.
Right.
So he dives into that side of what happened with Kate.
Fun. Okay. Well, not fun, but
So, right. So he
interesting.
believes that there was foul play.
Yeah.
And she was murdered. So his book is called The Legend of Kate Morgan, The Search for the Ghost of the Hotel Del Coronado.
Whoa.
Yes. So those are the books that are available.
I'm going to, when I have chance, being a mom, I want to read some of these. That
Yes.
sounds like fun.
Yes. So some things that Miss Kate Morgan does in the hotel. So we're going to talk about her hauntings.
Woo.
So some of the things that she does is she likes to turn the TV on and off. She likes to mess with the TV. And she also will apparate as well.
Fun.
So she will be seen in her room. She'll be seen in the stairwell.
What room is it?
Oh, she is in room 3327.
3327.
3327.
Okay.
It was room 302 when the hotel opened. And then it was, I think, 3312 at another point, but it's 3327. That's her room number.
So fun, quick story. When we first got there, we walked by it. We were trying to find it. We were trying to be sneaky. And then there were a bunch of cleaners in the other hall. They're like, "You're looking for Kate's room, huh?"
Yes. Yeah, look at you caught us.
Yeah.
It was really cute. But they're very proud of,
Oh, yeah.
of her and of her room and of the story.
Sure, that brings in a lot of people like
It
us.
does. It does. And I have to tell you about that in just
Okay.
a second. As soon as I tell you
Sorry,
about her
I'm jumping
haunting.
ahead.
No, it's okay. We have more about Kate's room to tell you as well.
Yep.
So there are cold spots. She does have cold spots around the hotel. She's seen on the stairs and in the gift shop. In the second floor lobby, there's a gallery right above on the second floor, which we got to walk around. And there's a beautiful stained glass there.
Oh, it's gorgeous there.
And so she's seen there as well. She's also said to make the drapes move. Even when the windows are closed, she will make the drapes move. She will make the screens fall off the windows. And so they constantly have to replace those. And there's also a strange glow that's reported in her room.
Fun.
So there's another haunted room.
What?
And it's room 3502.
You didn't tell me that.
I know.
She hid this from me.
So I didn't know who was in 3502, but I do now.
It was haunted. Yeah. Okay.
Do you remember when I talked about the founders of the hotel?
Yes.
Babcock and Story. Okay. So Babcock had himself a little mistress.
He was not a good husband.
Yes.
Ooh.
So even though he named a street after his wife, he still had a mistress that he kept in this room.
What?
Yes. A Secret Service agent had stayed in that room. He was guarding Vice President George Bush. He was on his detail at the time. And this was in May of 1983. So a Secret Service agent checked out of that room after being terrified during that visit. He felt breezes and the drapes were moving even though the windows were closed. He also heard gurgling sounds and there was a ghostly glow.
Whoa.
Right? So he checked out of that room. That room was rumored to be the love nest of the hotel builder Babcock and his mistress.
Wow.
So he got her pregnant. And after
Dirty
she
bird.
found out that she was pregnant, she took her own life.
Oh, no.
In that room.
Oh, no.
Yes.
What?
Yes, because she couldn't have an illegitimate child. And so...
She knew probably ruin everything.
Right. And her body was very quickly disposed of and hush.
Yeah.
Hush. So that's why that room isn't
Interesting.
really brought up that much.
So when we went on our tour...
Yes.
We were told that was Kate Morgan's room, weren't we?
Yes.
They said that.
They said the Secret Service agent
so maybe
ran
they
out
don't
of Kate
have
Morgan's room.
All those details.
Right. But he was in room 3502.
Interesting.
3502.
Aha, we know something more than the tour. Okay.
So lights are said to flicker in that room, and also there's cold spots in that room as well.
Crazy.
There are other ghosts of a little boy and a little girl that have been seen running around the hotel. And a hotel caretaker walks in the dining room. So you'll see a hotel caretaker walking in the dining room. And then there's also, and I think this is beautiful, there's a Victorian lady that's seen to glide around on the dance floor as well.
Oh, maybe she just wanted to stay.
Yeah, she just wanted to stay and
place.
dance. Yeah. So there's also been reports of Marilyn Monroe because she enjoyed it so much after filming Some Like It Hot. And she went back to visit several times after that she's seen on the boardwalk and on the beach and on the stairs by the beach.
Were you saying that at one point there's cameras out there? Have they caught that? I forgot.
I'm glad that you're asking me about their investigating the paranormal activity.
Look, I'm jumping ahead.
No, you're right on track. So
perfect.
You're doing great.
Good.
So in 1992, 100 years after Kate Morgan's death, the hotel launched an extensive research.
Whoa.
Into the paranormal
hotel.
research. So I'm going to read this directly from the Hotel Del Coronado's website. They have a whole section on history. So this is what it says. In 1992, Hotel Del Coronado contracted with parapsychologist anomalist Christopher Chacon to conduct a confidential assessment of the ongoing anomalous or haunt phenomena reported throughout the resort. The continuous 24-hour-a-day, 12-month investigation.
12 months?
12 months.
What?
Involved an expansive environment scanning and monitoring with both on-site technology throughout the property, including rooms, grounds, and etc., and remote scanning and monitoring technology operated from a mobile lab.
Do they have, sorry.
Yes.
Was the hotel open at this time?
Yes.
So people knew and they saw this.
They probably didn't put people in the rooms that they had.
Okay. So they blocked off a few rooms.
Right.
Okay.
So every aspect was analyzed, including temperature, electrostatic emissions, air current and air content, electromagnetic and geomagnetic spectrum, all types of radiation, vibration and movement, air pressure and humidity, and spectrum of light, among many others. So they
they went
checking
all in.
everything. Additionally, 1,100 people were confidentially interviewed, consisting of hotel guests, day visitors, hotel employees, workers, and contractors. Half of those interviewed had reported a wide variety of unexplainable events, and the other half were randomly selected, all of them undergoing a myriad of scientific examinations, interviews, and assessments. After almost 10,000 hours of continuous on-site assessment, a significant percentage of anomalous or paranormal phenomena were documented that could not be scientifically explained.
Whoa.
Some of the recurring phenomena included moving chairs and furniture, disembodied shadows, opening and closing doors and windows, water faucets turning on and off, concentration of extremely cold air, and disembodied voices and footsteps. Additionally, hundreds of incidents were documented of people, hotel guests, employees, etc., having all manner of experiences, talking to someone, hearing or smelling something, etc., that could not be scientifically detected. Among the variety of locations these experiences were documented includes the hotel's famously haunted rooms on the 3rd floor and 5th floor, which are among the most requested in the resort. Chacon returned to the Hotel Del Coronado on multiple occasions to conduct further assessments using different investigative models and approaches. So they have thoroughly investigated this property.
Did it all.
And they have found lots of evidence.
That is amazing.
Nicole.
Yes.
In our little feeble attempts of investigation.
Our short-lived, which we should have done the whole time we were there. Yes.
Did we find any evidence?
Yes.
Oh.
Hey, guys. I mean, we are very, very amateur when it comes to, we just like, hey, let's download this.
Amateur.
Yeah, let's download this ghost hunting app. Okay. I downloaded like the first one that looked fun. And Angela did one on the train afterwards.
Yes.
But the one I downloaded, it's just called Ghost Radar Classic. GR Classic. That's it. And what it does, it's so neat. It tracks anomalies, and there's a whole big thing about it on here that talks about it. I'm trying to open it and a big ad comes on. That's ads. Always fun. Anyway, but it explains what it's looking for, and it's one of those trackers that shows a blip, and it's based on color. So blue is like super weak, green is the next one, yellow is even stronger, and red is the strongest anomaly that it finds. It also has, I didn't even notice that until on the train, it has a word tracker, so it pops up words that are, basically, really fun. So paranormal phenomenon can interact with your ghost radar. Anyway, so we walked by the room of Kate Morgan, and as I open it now, guys, there's a big red dot behind me in Angela's house. Mm-hmm. This is creepy. Angela, this has never been like this before. It's red.
I know. That's okay.
Angela's got something here.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, Spirit.
They're enjoying.
They're
okay.
Gone. But anyway, so it pops up depending on where you are. And we were outside Kate Morgan's room, and I opened up the app, and we didn't see anything until we got kind of to the stairway.
Yes.
And in the stairway, which is like adjacent to...
It's right across from her room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right where her room was, we saw blips.
Yes.
It was so cool.
We captured the blips. We will go ahead and post them.
Screenshotted them. Yeah.
Yes. We will post the blips that we caught of Kate Morgan. Oh, our little friend's back.
Our friend's back. Angela's got a friend.
I have. Yes. Well, yes.
She knows. She already knows.
I know.
But yeah, so we'll post it. It was blue, so it was very weak, and then it turned green, and it was right in her room.
Yes.
So,
and she went away for a second before we were able to capture the screenshot, and then we asked her to come back, and she did.
Yeah. Angela is good at talking to the ghosts. I'm not. So she talked to her. It showed up. We took a screenshot. And it was so cool.
Yeah, we were very proud of ourselves. We were like, we did it.
Yay,
we investigated.
We did something. So that was so fun. You know what? And then all the way back on a train, every stop we made, we would pull out our phones and we look for ghosts. So
yeah, we had some really crazy responses
in LA
on the train. Yeah,
the Union Station was the most. Remember that?
Yes, we had a lot at Union Station, but we also had a lot when we were in Santa Fe Station, which is the very first station.
Yeah,
we had Charles talking to us.
That's right.
Yeah. He gave us a name.
That was so cool. So yeah, we'll post our photos and we'll show you exactly who they are. Angela, you got someone moving around in your room. I'm gonna turn this off before I
Is
get
it creeping
too
you
spooked.
out?
Yes, spooking me out. But yeah, that was the neatest thing. We were like, why did we do that earlier? So we'll do that if we ever go back to San Diego, which I'm sure we will. We'll stay at the Horton, which we found out was really haunted, and that will be in another episode.
Yes.
But yeah, we've heard the ghost stories.
More
there.
haunted San Diego for you guys.
Which, I mean, was so cool. We stayed at the haunted hotel. We visited the most haunted house, which we talked about on our last episode.
And we visited a bunch of other haunted places
Very
as
haunted
well.
Places, yeah.
San Diego is full of them. It's amazing.
So fun. Well, that's amazing, Angela. This was so cool, Del Coronado. And yeah, if you ever get to San Diego, please go. Just visit the island.
It's worth seeing.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful.
And we Ubered and lifted everywhere.
Yes.
So it's super easy to get around.
Yes.
Old Town is so cool.
Yes.
I'll talk about that in one of our episodes.
Old Town and Gas Lamp. And,
yeah. It was gorgeous. Good job, Angela.
Thank you.
All right. It's movie time.
Movie time.
This week's movie review
Yes.
is In the Mouth of Madness.
In the Mouth of Madness.
Okay.
Now, this one is a 90s movie, yes?
It is 1994, everybody.
Yes.
It got 7.1 stars on IMDb. And here's the very, very short synopsis, and I'll go into a little more detail about this movie. An insurance investigator begins discovering that the impact horror writers' books have on his fans is more than inspirational. It's very short. Okay, so before we even started, let me just jump into this real quick. I didn't know this. This is one of my favorite horror movies. And I think that's what our theme's going to be pretty soon here, is that we'll be reviewing my favorites. And I want to see what Angela thinks of these movies. We'll jump around here and there. But I didn't know this was so cool. So it's a Lovecraft. It's an inspiration of Lovecraft, and I'm sure all you horror people know about Lovecraft. But I didn't know that this was the third movie in what he called an apocalypse series.
Yes.
Which I didn't know. This is cool.
I didn't know that either until you told me.
Yeah. So apparently the first one John Carpenter. I didn't really explain that. So John Carpenter made these three movies, written and directed. The first one was The Thing in 1982, which I'm sure you all know about. The second one I've never heard of is Prince of Darkness, which is some crazy satanic movie, and he's in a vial. It reminded me of Venom.
Oh, yeah. You were saying that.
Yes, some antimatter of Satan. Anyway, I'm sure we'll review that at some point, but that's the second. And then this third one is In the Mouth of Madness, which, again, one of my favorite movies of if everybody else is insane and you're the only sane one, wouldn't that make you the insane one? Because everybody else is insane.
Yes.
And I thought that's just so ominous to me. All right. So
this movie messes with your brain.
It does. I don't remember when I first saw this movie, but I fell in love because of how just extremely crazy is. There's some jump scares.
Yeah.
There's the Lovecraft horror creatures that are in there.
Yes.
But it's really just the whole psychopath.
It's a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Yes. Because, it was 90s technology and it was fine and it still works and the creatures are scary. Now with more CGI and the way that we can do things, they could make it more realistic.
They could remake this movie.
Oh, don't do that though, because it is such a
mind trip, right?
A mind trip. Yes. I was going to use a different word. I'm glad you PG'd it for me because it messes with your head so much. Right? Yeah. And that's what stuck with me. I'm like, oh, this movie is dumb, but it stays with you. I'm mad that it stayed with me.
I remember watching the movie. We watched this at the Del. And she was laughing at a few parts. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty cheesy. Yeah. There's some things that are hilarious that the girl, I forgot her exact title, but she was the one that would read Sutter Kane's books.
Yes.
She's just very womanly.
Oh my
over
goodness.
Over the top.
But it makes sense when you understand who she is and what her role is in the whole thing.
Yes.
She was literally written that way.
Exactly. She was a character
and so
written.
I was like, ugh. of course a man would write a woman to be that way, where to get anything, because she presents herself as a very intelligent, she's an editor for Sutter Kane. Very smart, very well put together, very professional. But anytime she wants anything, she just makes out with whoever she's talking to.
She bats her eyes, tries to kiss. Yep.
It's so funny. And
it's over the top.
That's not how women work, men. Come on. Stop writing us that way.
Right? Oh, women. But, I mean, the main character, as we find out, spoiler alert, is a written character. So he's not even alive.
Yeah, he's not alive. He himself is a written character.
He doesn't, but he believes that he's not. It's amazing. It's how convinced he is. He's such a good actor. Sam Raimi. Wait. Oh, what's his name? Sam Neill. And Angela goes, do. She's like, he's the Australian actor. I'm like, I didn't even realize that.
He's an Aussie.
He has an accent and everything. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Great actor. Great cast.
Yeah, we all know him from Jurassic Park. That's why I was singing the theme.
I don't think you needed to say that, because we all like, oh yeah. But yeah, the picture that kept changing in the hotel.
Oh, so that was creepy. Yes.
Yeah. So spoiler alert some more. So he has to go find Sutter Kane. He's disappeared, and he thinks it's a big insurance act.
Sutter Kane is kind of like a Stephen King. Author type,
and they even mention Stephen King.
They do. Funny. But he's a very well-read horror novelist.
So he disappears, and they hire him to go to double check and make sure that it's not an insurance claim, because he's really good at his job. He's sniffing out frauds. So he thinks it's a big act, which they find out it was at the end, but.
Yes. It was supposed to be an act, but the act itself went wrong.
Yes. And he ends up in that's what's funny is Stephen King puts everything in Maine.
Yes.
Same thing. I think it was in New Hampshire. He finds out that Sutter Kane went to New Hampshire, and that's where like Hobbs End. That's where everything takes place.
Yes.
In his books. So he goes there. He ends up there with the girl. I keep forgetting her name. I'm sorry, but
Styles is her last name. Styles.
Good. And they end up in a horror town. Yes. Creepy. The children. Whenever you make children creepy, that gets to me.
Yeah.
Chasing a dog. The kid that can't get out.
Yes, and there's a when they're on the road to Hobbs End. This is the part that scares me the most, because it's terrifying to me. If you're stuck on a country road, I grew up in Texas, and there's some rural areas where I grew up, and you're driving country roads at night where there's no lights and there's no end to them. They just go on forever.
That is very creepy.
And they get stuck on this road, and then they keep passing the old man on the bicycle.
Well, he was a kid first.
He was a kid at first, and then he just
turns into an old man.
Yeah, he keeps getting older every time they pass him.
It's like, he won't let me out.
Yes.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Yes. And then the point where he's trying to leave Hobbs End, and he keeps winding back in town. He'll go down the country road, and then he just winds up back in town. That's a nightmare for me, to just be stuck on a long road, no end in sight, and you can't get off of it. Yeah. You're just stuck driving down this long, scary road. So podcasts on haunted highways would be a good one.
We'll do one.
Yeah.
We'll definitely do one of those. That's so creepy. Angela can do that one. Anyway, this movie is one of my all-time favorites. Again, nod to Lovecraft. How many stitches would you give it, Angela?
Okay, this one's gonna go high again, because it stuck with me.
Yep.
Even though I feel like I saw this movie maybe back in the 90s.
You probably did. You probably saw it on TV at some point,
because there's definitely parts to the movie where I'm like, oh, I remember this. The old lady and her husband.
Yeah.
The old lady who ran the hotel. I'm like, oh, I remember that. Yes. I know what she's got underneath that desk.
Yes.
And I remember Sutter Kane, and I definitely remember parts of it. But this movie just stayed in my head and invaded my dreams for a few nights there, and it did exactly what it was meant to do. It makes you question your reality a little bit, and
are we written?
And do you think what's sane and what isn't sane? Is this the Matrix? That's another thing. So this a lot of movies that came after this took a lot of cues from this movie. So we have the Matrix, and we have the movie called, I don't remember what it's called, but it's Will Ferrell is a character that's being written by a woman.
Yes. And Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction.
That's right. Yeah. That was a good movie.
Yeah,
I like that one too. I see that nod.
Yeah. So a lot of movies have taken nods from this.
Yeah. So what's your Stitches rating?
I'm going to put it at maybe, I feel like it's got to go. Edit that noise out. I feel like it's got to go higher than 7, close to 8. So I'm going to say 7 3/4.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close to 8. I don't think anything's gotten an 8 yet.
Not yet. Not for Angela.
Yeah, but we're getting close.
We're getting
up there.
My thing about this movie, I think, is when I was a kid, I would read R.L. Stine books.
Yes.
Left and right. I'd power through them. Then I got into Stephen King. So that's where my love of horror, I think, started as the books. I mean, I love movies too, but so I kind of related with that. When I would read Stephen King books, I could not sleep.
Oh, yes.
I would stay up freaked out of my mind, and I maybe almost pretty much scared of the dark.
Yes.
So this movie is kind of a nod to that, like the whole reading as much as you can of these books and these horror books, and then you're like, oh, can that happen in
how
real
you
life?
can become obsessed with things that you read.
Yes.
And it changes your perspective on reality and what the world is.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens in the world right now, where people's realities are altered and changed.
But it's not books, it's social media, which scares me even more. Yeah. So my kids are never going on social media. Anyway, but yes, being one of my all-time favorite movies, I'd give this an 8.5.
Oh,
Stitches.
yeah. That's
it
a
has
good
to
rating.
get close to 9. It's not going to get 9 because, again, 90s. If they remade this, I would poop my pants, and I'd probably give it a 10.
Yeah,
because they could make this
horrible. It's pretty cheesy, but the context of it and the way it sticks in your head.
Yeah, and again, the acting was perfect for it. And the ending of him just laughing in a movie theater. I'm not going to give everything.
Himself. Yeah.
But laughing away. And I'm like, yep. That's probably what would happen to me. You know, there's no sense of emotions anymore because everybody's insane, and laughing about it is probably the only thing you can do.
The only thing you can do. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that gets to me. Anyway, 8.5 Stitches for this movie. And what did we learn today, Angela, from this movie?
From this movie, don't believe everything you read or do. I don't know. Or just don't read so you don't get influenced by it. No, books are amazing.
Just don't believe everything you read, I guess is a good story or good lesson from this. Don't drive to country roads.
Don't investigate missing horror novelists.
I guess. Do your job. I guess don't try to go to a fictional city, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I would. I mean, we went ghost hunting. We went and
we did
of things, but I guess the only lesson is just don't believe everything you read.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's so hard if it's got power over you.
I know.
So not a lot of lessons in this movie.
No. Maybe just don't watch it. I don't know. No, it's good. Watch it. Watch the movie.
All right, with that,
that's it. We're done with episode number 5.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
And we'll see you, Stitchers.
See you, Stitchers.